Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. The desperate search for a beautiful 3-year-old Florida girl, Kelly.
Tonight, Casey Anthony's ex-fiance's family is speaking out, breaking their silence with Nancy Grace. This as exclusive new photos released, showing the top mom like you've never seen her before.
That's not the truth. You need to tell. No, it's not the truth. See, we can't get past that unless you go ahead and tell us the truth.
There's nothing to get past because that is the truth.
Nobody's listening to anything that I'm saying. The detective told them bull.
Do you not know where she is? The last person that I saw her with is dead.
Wait, is my call sitting in, the jail?
I have no clue where she is.
Sure you
if
did.
I knew in any sense where she was, this wouldn't have happened at all.
I just watched the news and heard everything that my mom said. Nobody in my own family is on my side.
This is so heart-wrenching because there was never a sign.
I called to talk to my mother, and it's a waste. Oh my God, calling you guys, a waste, huge waste.
She always seemed like she had a smile on her face. You know, if there was laundry to be done, she would take care of that. I think one night she made pasta for everyone.
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
In these surveillance photos, a young girl resembling Kaylee Anthony is seen inside a McDonald's restaurant in Murfreesboro, Tennessee on July 10th.
I just want my daughter back.
Straight out to Mark Williams, the WNDB News Talk. What is the latest?
Nancy, you are going to make news on your very own show tonight. The father of Casey Anthony's ex-fiancée, Jesse Grund, will be breaking his silence for literally the first time on nationwide TV. He'll tell you more about Casey Anthony's web of lies, such as at one time when Casey was pregnant, she told Jesse that he was the father. It turned out not to be true. Unbelievable stuff, Nancy. Secondly, the fiancé had a paternity test performed, and it showed that he was not the father, but he fell in love with little Kaylee. And then thirdly, you'll show some very rare pictures of Jesse Grund, Kaylee, and of course Casey Anthony all together.
We're seeing those right now. Yeah. With us tonight, everyone, is a very special guest. We are very happy to have with us Richard Grund. This is the father of Casey Anthony's ex-fiancée, Jesse Grund. We've all heard a lot about Jesse Grund. A lot of people have pointed the finger at him as being involved in Kelly's disappearance. I've got right here with me the police copy of Grund speaking with them freely and voluntarily. He voluntarily, immediately signed up for a polygraph test and passed. Sir, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me.
What was your first reaction when you learned little Kelly was missing?
Shock, distraught, and just complete bewilderment.
How did your son, who by all accounts is a fine young man, how did he get tangled up with Casey Anthony?
Well, thank you for that compliment. Same way everybody else does. You see something in Casey that makes you want to like her, makes you want to love her, makes you want to overlook the lies and the problems. He met her at Universal Studios when he was doing loss prevention, and she was actually working at Kodak during that time.
And what happened?
They met. They dated briefly. She kind of scared him away with the immediate word love, I'm in love with you, within 2 weeks, and latched on, and it kind of scared him away, and they broke up.
You know, that seems like a recurring issue that she has. Immediately moves in with someone, immediately is there every single night, is in love, the whole shebang. Now, let's get right down to the brass tacks. How did it come about that Casey Anthony names Jesse Grund, your son, as the bio dad of little Kelly?
Well, of course, we'd have to start with the fact that they got together and were intimate. They broke up, and Casey actually showed up at our house. First time I met Casey was summer of '05, I want to say June. She helped my younger son get a job at Kodak. I spotted right then and there she was pregnant, but she was telling everybody she had female problems and she wasn't pregnant.
Whoa, wait. You could tell she was pregnant, but she denied she was pregnant?
Yeah, yes, Nancy. The minute my son came in and I asked who was that, and he told me that that's Casey, the girl that I dated briefly, and I said, well, son, she's pregnant. Oh, no, no, she's only got female problems. I asked her about that. That's what she's told everybody, including her family. I said, no, I know a woman that's pregnant. She was pregnant.
Then what happened?
Well, about a month later, he gets a phone call from her, and she says, I need to talk to you, but Jesse's in the middle of a seminar for a new job. He says, I can't talk to you right now. Send me a text message. And so while he's sitting there in the middle of this seminar, he gets a text message, says, I'm pregnant, you're the father. That's it. So he calls us up, tells us the situation. He's a little embarrassed because he knows, based on our values, this is really not something I want to hear on the other end of a telephone, but he's my son and I love him and I'll support him. And he immediately steps up and says, I'm going to take responsibility for my actions. He meets with Casey and basically says, look, both of us are too young to be parents. Let's put this baby up for adoption to somebody who wants a baby that can't have one. And Casey said, that's not an option. That's not going to happen. So Kaylee is born August of '05, as we know. Jesse gets the call the minute she's born, goes to the hospital, and requests a paternity test, which we had all said, best thing to do before you put your name on the birth certificate, let's make sure you're really the father.
Now, let me ask you about the birth certificate. With us is Richard Grund. He is the father of Jesse Grund. Was he in law enforcement?
No, well, actually, at that time, he was in loss prevention at Universal Studios.
Yes. Did he go into law enforcement?
Yes, he did. He went to police academy and was with the Orlando Police Department for a brief period of time, and then came to the mutual conclusion that maybe being a police officer
was not for him.
Was not for him.
Now, at the time Kaylee was born, it's my understanding that Casey Anthony wanted to put his name on the birth certificate.
Almost immediately.
And what happened?
He said, no, let's wait and do a paternity test first.
Did she want a paternity test?
No, she did not. She was actually angry with him about it. And
said?
That she just didn't want to do it, but she had no choice.
Everybody, you are seeing photos Mr. Grund provided to us. This is baby Kaylee, shortly after her birth. Now, your son, even after he learned he was not the bio dad, he wanted to raise little Kaylee as his own. And in fact, Casey, to my understanding, would leave Kaylee at your home from early in the morning till late in the day, all the time.
Well, not all the time, but during a period of time where she lost her regular babysitter, Jesse would watch her one day, and then we would watch her another couple of days during the week. But most of the time, Casey and Kaylee were at our house. She spent as much time as she could with us.
Did you learn whether Mom Casey actually had a job? Where was she going?
Up until April of '06, she actually was going to Universal and working at one of the Kodak kiosks, shops there, taking pictures. So she actually did have a job up until April of '06.
Excuse me. She did what?
Some of the rides people come off and they have their picture taken, and then you convince you to buy the ride of how silly you look as you come down. Well, that's what she would do for Kodak.
What happened to event planning?
Yeah, it wasn't a part of her life then.
Did Nani give you any money that day?
No. I would not have sold my daughter. If I wanted to really just get rid of her, I would have left her with my parents. I would have moved out. I would have given my mom custody.